Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you are a new viewer, subscriber, welcome in. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I'm Sarah and I'll be your intuitive guide and your reader today. Today's message is very specific. As you guys know, I took a huge, I took a lot of space from the twin flame dynamic and from the divine masculine, just the energy for quite a while, and it's sort of coming back around whipping me in the face. And in fact, I had this very interesting experience this morning where I'd gone back to sleep, woke up super early, which on this journey, by the way, I've been made into a morning person naturally, which is something I've been trying to do for decades, and finally it just naturally occurred. So that may be happening for some of you where your circadian rhythms are being turned upside down. So you might become a night owl and you were a morning person before, or vice versa. But I had gone back to sleep and I went into this twilight, very relaxing twilight zone, but I was also conscious and fully aware. And it was this juicy, beautiful, loving, very connected energy. And it was actually my soulmate coming through. But I feel like this could be happening for soulmates or twin flames, where they're coming through with these beautiful messages, and they're unspoken messages. So I want to get some unspoken messages here from the divine masculines. Now, I define divine masculines. It could be a soulmate, it could be a kindred, it could be your twin flame, also the energy that you carry within you. Because as you guys know, I'm a true advocate for inner union first and foremost. That's what we're here for. The physical union comes secondary to what we're feeling or creating inside of ourselves. Your reality is pushed outward. So if you are in a state of dismissal of the feminine or the masculine energy inside, you can't come into physical union with your counterpart externally. I think this is just something that's not talked about or spoken about enough. There's a few of us out here circulating this information, but there's far more people just talking about, oh, put a ring on it and he's going to propose, the divine masculine is this and that. And it's like, maybe some of those things are happening to a small degree, but the larger picture and perspective is that the masculines are in the throes of their spiritual ascension, awakening, their journey, and the feminines have been thrown really pretty deep into their physical reality. A lot of root chakra purging, sacral chakra, I'm still having a lot of throat chakra glitches as I go through my upgrades. You may notice your voice is changing at this time as well. So what I want to do for you guys, I had a few people reach out and ask me, will you ever do a tarot course? And I thought that would be fun and refreshing and interesting and different. So if you're interested in a tarot course, my comment section is now open again. Let me know in the comments below. I can't promise I can read and respond to every comment, but I will do my best to be aware. I will do my best to join in when I'm able to. And I have an incredible team of moderators who are also welcome to respond to comments or questions as well. Thank you guys. I just always am so thankful for my moderators for being able to be present and supportive when I'm not able to. Okay guys, so we're gonna go into the reading. If you'd like a personal reading, my website, I think my email as well, is listed below in the description box. You can check out all of my offerings. And in addition, look forward to that next offering, because we very well may be doing an introduction to tarot for the next course. I haven't decided yet, but it will be late October, early November is what it's looking like for the timeline. Please keep in mind that can shift as timelines are shifting really rapidly right now. And I'm going through my own growth, ascension, and shifting process also. So thank you guys for being patient. We just got to 22,700. We were at 22,600 for the longest time. So I was so excited to wake up this morning and see 22,700 subscribers. Thank you so, so very much for your support and your kindness and your love, and I give it right back to you. Okay, so going into the reading here, we do have the major arcana, the minor arcana. We do have, I think these are the same messages that, or the same decks rather, that I used yesterday. So I may switch it up a little bit here, but this is what I was called to kind of present this morning. It's interesting what they're asking me to do. We're actually going to start not with a tarot deck. We are going to begin with the Sacred Forest deck. And we'll just take a collective deep breath and sigh together. It's Saturday here. Releasing any negativity, releasing any heaviness that might be surrounding you or surrounding the energies of the divine feminine, divine masculine at this time. Calling in the guides and the archangels to be present, those that are of the light, those that are assisting us with our ascension journey, ascension path at this time on earth as we evolve and we leave behind the heavy density that we've been experiencing on earth for many eons. All right. So I would like an energy here. Guardians of the land protection. So yes, interesting because I'm also getting heart palpitations as I called in the assistants and the guides for support here for the reading. There's, as our heart has to open and expand on this journey to allow to understand that everyone's going to be at a different place. Everyone's going to be at a different stage of their awakening. So we have to really have respect for that. We have to have compassion and empathy and an understanding to the best of our ability that people are going to go at this at their own pace and their own time and in their own way, including your divine counterpart, whoever you identify that is. One thing that's really... that I'm seeing, that I'm really loving seeing from fellow teachers and guides is, don't give your power away. And I shared a message yesterday. Don't give your power away looking for someone else to tell you if this is your counterpart, looking for someone else to heal you, looking for someone else to, to answer the questions that you already know deep inside of you. You know the answers to those questions. You're asking the question, maybe they're timeless questions, like what am I doing here? What is the purpose of being human, being alive? Well, that's for us to go within and understand and comprehend and create our own reality and create our own story. We're all going to have our own perspectives and stories. When you're listening to my readings as well, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Protect yourself, protect your energy at this time. If something I say doesn't resonate, and it's not, if it's a trigger, then I would encourage you to work through that trigger, because we all get triggered, right? But if it's deeper than that, if it just doesn't resonate with you, if that's not your truth, then simply move on, and check out another video of mine or check out another reader. I have no problem saying that because I do not know everything. Another reader does not know everything. There's no one on this earth that has all the answers, that knows everything. So I am going to change my opinion and my mind. And I've seen this with other readers as well as we evolve, as we go further down our journeys and our paths. And as you know, I have, I started, if you've been following me since the get-go, I was gung-ho into the romantic aspect of this connection. And I have since evolved and matured. And I'm able to see this beautiful spiritual connection from a different vantage point that's it granted me a lot of freedom and access to my own growth and my own spiritual evolution and understanding and emotional maturity as well. This idea that we own somebody, this idea that somebody is ours, this is my counterpart, this is mine, really takes away from the experience that we signed up to have here on earth. This can be the person you identify as your counterpart, but it doesn't mean they don't have lessons to learn with other individuals and other souls. If you can get to the place where you're thankful and grateful for the quote-unquote karmic partners, people aren't karmics, by the way. It's karmic energy. The soul is not a karmic, so that's actually a misnomer in and of itself. But if you want to identify, this is how they've come to be known as the KPs, or the karmic partners. If you want to identify them as such, okay, fine. So that person is actually your ally and not your foe. But you have to mature, you have to come to a mature enough perspective, and you have to have gone through this journey for a period of time to really get to that place to understand, oh, you know what, throw away the ego for a second. This person is actually assisting me by assisting with the growth of my beloved, of my counterpart, of my very own soul. If you believe that you share a soul with that person. So you're being protected from, you know, all angles, all directions, all realms, all aspects. You're never alone on this journey. I think that's something really important for people to understand, because a lot of you feel very alone and lonely on this journey, and it can feel that way because we're spread out and sprawled out to all corners of the earth, and there are people in your life, you know, who will not understand this connection. They will not understand the strength of your feelings that you have towards this individual who's, in their eyes, done nothing but betray you and lie to you or cheat on you or chosen somebody else or married someone else, or how could you love this person? Because humanity up to this point hasn't truly, for the most part, collectively understood unconditional love. So this is a message that you're safe. You're surrounded by beauty. You're surrounded by love. You're safe where you are. You're fully protected. You are not alone. You know, you're being guided by higher forces. You're being guided by the forces above. And these are beautiful, beautiful energies that remind you that you're enough, okay? That you're enough just as you are. That no matter what transpired in your past, what you did, what somebody else did, what you said, what somebody else said, that you are not your past, and that you are loved unconditionally as you are. So all is forgiven. You know, this is the reminder that all is forgiven. Also a reminder, you know, to work on forgiving the counterpart, because I know there's a lot of anger coming up right now from the feminine towards the masculine. The feminine feels a lot of resentment for what transpired in the past. I'm hearing this from clients. I'm hearing this in emails. I feel angry. You know, I feel like I was betrayed. I feel like I was lied to. I feel like I was taken advantage of, like I wasn't treated well. I was treated poorly by my counterpart. How could I forgive that person? Why would I want to be with that individual? Well, that's why I say they have to come in a completely different version of themselves, being able to offer you what it is that you truly deserve and desire. And until that point, you're going to play games. The manipulation will be there. You know, you'll subconsciously manipulate each other. Who's going to hold back more? Who's going to refrain from communication? I've seen this with counterparts. You know, who's going to get another boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or get married first? I've seen this with counterparts. I've seen this with clients. And you can't play that 3D game with a counterpart, because it's your own soul reflecting back to you in the eyes of another person, in another person's body. You can't play that game with your own self. It's like trying to deceive yourself, trying to convince yourself you don't love this person, you don't want to be with this person. But the truth is, both counterparts always are drawn back to each other, always want to be with each other. One message that's coming through really strongly, you know, from the masculines lately is that it was always you. You know, that you've always been the chosen one. The masculine wants the feminine to know, I've never given up hope. I've never given up on it being you. I just knew that I wasn't good enough as I was. I knew that I had to grow, and I had to learn these lessons through other people, because, you know, honestly, I was afraid of being alone. The masculine has a huge fear of being alone, of ending up alone, and it makes them feel unworthy. And, you know, when the feminine says things or does things that spark the unworthiness fear in them and brings that wound to the surface, initially they blame the feminine. Well, why would I want to be with someone like that? They made me feel this way, X, Y, Z. And then they, you know, run off and lick their wounds with another individual who we call the karmic. And then their wounds are matching up initially, but what's beautiful about that is the karmic teaches the masculine enough things, you know, up to a certain point, they learn, oh gosh, this really wasn't, my feminine was just showing me she was actually right, or he was actually right. This is actually about me. And they realize that as the wounds start to pull apart from the karmic partner, because their wounds no longer match that person's, suddenly they're gravitating back to the feminine because they're doing their work thanks to the karmic partner. This is the irony in this whole entire situation. You know, the masculine is tired of hiding. The masculine's tired of being with people they don't really want to be with, choosing people that don't get them, that don't understand them, that don't line up with them. Now, on paper, honestly, the karmic partner can look amazing for the counterpart. And the counterpart on paper, you don't look amazing initially. because they're looking at it from a 3D angle and 3D lens and glasses. I put it together. My mom and I both do that. We create our own words. One time she called peppermints pence because she was trying to say peppermints and mints, and it came out pence. Do you want a pent? So anyway, I thought that was really cute. But yeah, the masculine doesn't understand, like, initially looks at the feminine and says, we're not good together. We're never going to work together. We're different, blah, blah, blah. And then they bring in the karmic partner and it looks like, oh, this is a matchup. And for a lot of the feminines, this can look like, oh, they upgraded. Like this karmic partner can be more successful than the feminine in the 3D world, can have more money, more connections. And that can really, really make the feminine feel discarded, make the feminine feel unworthy. And it's designed to do that. So we have to work through those unworthiness wounds and fears. It says it doesn't matter what this person does for a living or how much they make or what kind of a, mask they should put onto the world. If it's a karmic connection, it's toxic. It's toxic at its core. Yes, there are lessons being learned, but this individual is not as it appears in those karmic relationships, okay? So whatever you're seeing on social media, they went to a gala or an event together, or I'm just throwing out ideas, or, they bought a house together, or they got married, or they did this, or they did that. They went on a trip together, whatever it is. They're out with friends together and they look, oh, they're having a gay old time. It's like, no, that's not the truth. Don't watch their social media because nothing good is going to come from that. You're just going to walk away feeling worse about yourself. You're going to feel defeated, hopeless, because it's not the truth. They got themselves entangled in another mess. It's like oftentimes the masculine will go through a few karmics. They get out of one karmic situation, go into another one, try to run to the feminine in between. And oftentimes what they'll say to the feminine is, I just needed you. And the feminine's like, no, that doesn't work anymore. You don't get to just come to me when you need me. So the feminine is demanding high standards at this point, commitment, loyalty, like, okay, yeah, we can have a conversation. But if you're not at this level, you can't walk in my house. You can't come in my metaphorical house in my door. All right. So the feminine has really gained a lot of wisdom through this process, through an understanding of the connection and through the communication she's had and the experiences she's had with the counterpart. She has learned to be discerning and really pull out what she needs to pull out to help herself evolve, and then leave what needs, like if something is no longer resonating with her or something no longer feels aligned, she's leaving that. It's like, no, that's yours. What's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. So she has evolved in many, many ways through this process. And it's really thanks to the counterpart for coming in and triggering her and pushing her. She's trusting in her ability to see her truth and to find her truth, what her truth is for her. She's very protected in this process. So she's no longer relying on external, situations, people, truths. She's seeking inside herself. She's sought inside herself, and she's finding the answers there. She's trusting what she's feeling, and she's receiving profound wisdom and insight, intuitive hits at this time. And, having those realizations, this can lead to anger towards the counterpart, as we were discussing, having those realizations of, where she didn't honor herself, where she maybe dishonored herself in these types of connections, or in karmic connections that she's had in the past, where she wasn't true to herself, where she might have put on a mask herself, just like she's watched her counterpart do. This is ancient wisdom that is coming through for the feminine. So some of you may be guided right now by the animal spirits of owl, the animal spirit of deer, especially the buck, the male deer, is coming through pretty strongly here. And that, deer represents love, gentleness. And so you may be feeling or experiencing these energies at this time, but there is the Hierophant energy here that came through in yesterday's reading. So the energy of, a wisdom seeker, seeking higher wisdom, higher learning, higher education. And in doing so, the feminine has really branched out. She's surrounding herself with more like-minded people, with people that have a consciousness that's at her level. Now, what I see the masculine going through is, finding his courage, reaching deep for that courageousness, and going through a bit of uncertainty, right? So the masculine is in this energy of, they're pretty uncertain with most aspects of their lives, who they are, where they're going, where they've been, why, the whys, the hows, how did I get here? Feeling unaligned also with the current version of their story of their life, especially if they're still in karmic situations, looking within and going, how did I get here? This feels completely unaligned. This doesn't feel authentic. This doesn't feel good. It's like they've extracted what they needed to extract from those situations. They've learned the lessons, and now they're ready to move on. It's interesting. We have a deer here as well for both the feminine and the masculine. A lot of transformational energy here still coming through for the masculines. We keep on seeing butterflies in all of these cards. So this transformational process is not yet complete. They're going through that metamorphosis that is really helping them create and understand who they are, who they truly are, why they're truly here. So they're starting to let go of the struggle of time, because for a while there they felt like they were running out of time, especially those who are, have turned a certain age. Like they started, they were having those birthdays and maybe feeling like, this is like I've lived half of my life. I've lived, a quarter of my life. I've lived a third of my life. And what's next? Like I want to live for me. I want to take the next X amount of years and make this for me. And, I really want to put the past to bed. So even if they feel like they're stuck in something that is sort of thorny or uncertain or just sticky, like those karmic situations can feel like, I do feel like they're finding their way out of it. They're being led. They've got these beauty of nature and animals and animal spirits leading them, whereas they might have felt like they were being led astray in the past. They're being led to a more balanced place. They're being led to a place where they can have a deeper understanding of why they've arrived here at this time. They're pulling deep from this place of courage, from deep within themselves, not from anything outside of themselves. This is their inner spiritual warrior that's coming through. And they're willing and ready to face any challenges or obstacles that are coming up on their path. So even though there's an uncertainty, they are very protected. And, this is the feminine and the masculine. So apply this to your own feminine and masculine, where, the feminine's feeling this energy of protection and really digging deep to find that inner wisdom, that sanctuary inside of herself. And then the masculine energy, if you apply this to your inner masculine, yes, feeling uncertain, feeling maybe a little ungrounded because this is new territory delving into the spiritual realms, but also having the courage to dig deeper and look deeper to find the answers that they're seeking. So the messages here are, for both counterparts and both your inner feminine and masculine, is know that you are safe and protected regardless of where you are in this journey. So let's get a message for the combined energies. Growth and expansion. Yeah, that's coming through pretty loud and clear these days. So growth and expansion. So expansion of the mind, expansion of the understanding, right, of why I'm here. This growth card is really speaking to me of, it's like beneath the surface, there's a trembling happening. There's a quivering happening beneath the surface. You might appear very steady at this time, feminine, but what's happening beneath the surface are these small little miracles, little changes, little triumphs. And you might miss it if you're not paying attention. So something that you thought maybe was ordinary is actually being revealed as pretty extraordinary, pretty remarkable. There's a lot of pentacle energy that I'm picking up here, a lot of earth energy, a lot of abundant energy that is coming through, which we could associate with the planet Jupiter, this energy of expansion and abundance, and luck. A blessed part of your journey, divine feminine. And the masculines, yes, they're growing through the uncertainty. They're growing through the lessons. We always grow through the lessons. We always grow through the triggers. And it's always easy to look back in hindsight, right, in the rearview mirror and see, oh, okay, that's why that occurred. That's why that needed to happen the way it did. So the masculines are learning this too. They're learning that I don't have to have all the answers right now. I don't have to even understand it, but I do have to accept where I am. So they're learning to accept this place of uncertainty, this place of maybe even deep despair, digging deep to find that courage and knowing that they're protected and safe, and finding that deep place inside of themselves where they have that inner wisdom to pull from. So not only, when we talk about abundance, not only is it monetarily abundance, it's joyful abundance, it's vitality, health, success, it's healing, it's passion, it's mission, it's all of those things. So, this is the energy of summer, and this is the energy of, taking steps to assist yourself with this expansion. So it is requiring us to put forth some physical effort at this time. Although, as I said yesterday, many people are feeling many people have expressed to me feeling really fatigued, heavily fatigued at this time. So rest when you need to, when you're called to, but also making sure that you're fulfilling that creative expansion, tapping into that sacral chakra, tapping into the solar plexus chakra, finding those places inside of yourself where you are tapped into some aspect of your creativity. So we're going to pull a major arcana card. So separated the major arcana from the minor arcana, and we're going to just pull a card here for the theme that is running through the collective right now. The moon, so interesting. So there still could be some illusions that we are feeding into, right, as we dissociate from the matrix, as we detach from the matrix. But this is also tapping into that historical feminine energy. Historically, the feminine is represented by the moon and the masculine is represented by the sun. So tapping into that divine wisdom, the divine innate wisdom, the intuition, bringing that forth, and not allowing what we're seeing, especially if you're in a divine counterpart situation, not allowing what you're seeing to affect how you feel, trusting in your own truth, trusting in what you know versus what you're seeing, because there's so many illusions right now, and especially if you're tapped into the 3D in any way, you're tapped into the news outlets, there's so many illusions that are still playing out. There's a lot of fear that they're still trying to instill in the masses. So it's really up to you to be discerning and to be able to pull yourself out of those illusions. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't, as I said before. For some feminines, there's a desire right now, or maybe even the action of, Four of Pentacles speaks to kind of protecting your assets or your abundance, where it is. And this could speak to some feminines who are going through a divorce or going through a separation right now, or maybe if you're stepping out of the matrix, you're stepping out of the 3D. stepping out of a corporate job and really feeling the need to, it's almost like a hoarding type of energy. I've seen it in some of the tarot decks. So just feeling like this is the wealth and the abundance that I've created, and needing to maybe protect it from, in particular, I'm seeing like karmic partners or karmic jobs or karmic bosses, and wanting to really, like, I think reevaluating your relationship with money also. Like if you've had a fear of money in the past, or if money has been something that you always feel like, well, I get it and then I lose it, or whatever your mentality is, or money is evil, whatever has been instilled in you since childhood. I think working through some of that is called for whenever I see the Four of Pentacles, creating some balance here with the Two of Pentacles. So again, the feminine's doing a lot of work in the 3D world right now. As Pentacles is earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So wanting to create a balance here. Maybe you've been working too hard and you need time to rest and retreat, or time to play. So making sure you're creating a balance between play and work is really important right now. And that's going to help you pull out of the illusions, Divine Feminine, but also less is more right now. So you don't necessarily need to be doing more to be getting ahead at this time. I think we're going to see a lot of forward action come October, November, December. But right now, August and September, we're still kind of in like a lull. We're still working through some things collectively that are pretty heavy and pretty dense, revealing deeper truths collectively, okay? And we're seeing this happening out there in the world. You're seeing this in your community. You're seeing this, in social media. You're seeing people just kind of wake up and have these epiphanies and aha moments. So just be mindful of that, Divine Feminine. The Four of Pentacles could also speak to this energy of, again, the fear of, the recession or the inflation that's happening all around us. They've been calling for, hoarding of food, hoarding of supplies for years. So this could just speak to that kind of collective fear right now. And again, the need to find balance within, the need to create and find balance and refocus as well. Divine Masculine, Ace of Swords. I think they received this in another reading sometime this past week. So this speaks to me about seeking the truth, being a truth seeker. This is good. This is good. Beautiful. So we see that the Divine Masculine is pulling away or out of the matrix and wanting to create their own truth, wanting to access that deeper truth. Not just watching the news and taking it as truth, actually stepping back, dissecting what they're hearing from outlets or others, or even their own, biases. They're looking deeper into that, trying to discover, well, do I really believe that now? Or how do I know that's true? And even things that you've said to them, Divine Feminine, especially in regards to the awakening of humanity, they may now be looking back on with a different set of eyes or different set of ears, saying, you know what, I discarded that, I laughed at that, I ridiculed that, but now I'm starting to understand what my counterpart was talking about. Now I'm starting to get an idea of what could actually be going on out there. So that's interesting to see for sure. This speaks to me of just a cutting, sharp truth. Ace of Swords does not, it's like the Queen of Swords or the King of Swords. They don't pussyfoot around. They don't say something just to say something or to placate somebody. They speak the truth. And so again, we have the owl coming through here. This is, again, innate wisdom here coming through for the feminine and the masculine energy. Pretty unstoppable force, if you ask me. Wisdom, this is an innate wisdom. This is a wisdom that, it's a soul wisdom. It's not just an earthly wisdom that's coming through. Okay, so we're going to end and close out with the integration deck here by Diane Garris. If you guys would like to purchase her decks, she sells them over on Etsy. It's DYANGARRIS. Beautiful cards. I have several of her decks that she gifted me. They are my favorite decks to use. Really, my favorite decks. All right, so overall, there we go. Overall energy, empowerment. So speaking to the crown chakra. Yeah, and I see this too with the wisdom, with the protection, divine wisdom, divine protection. That innate truth, that innate voice that the masculine and feminine are tapping into. Knowing that you're protected, knowing that you're surrounded by a greater and higher power than yourself. This is speaking to the idea of oneness, collective consciousness, the awakening to that. In particular, I mean, I feel it equally, I guess, for the counterparts, but it's newer to the divine masculine, right? The feminine has had an understanding of this for maybe even decades or years, and I think the masculine, you could say the masculines, because the masculines that I've worked with and talked to, they've had an awareness of this also for a very long time, since they were very little, but they pushed it away, they pushed it back, either because they had a narcissistic parent, because there just wasn't room or space for that, but there wasn't an allowance for this, so they had to push it away, push it down, pretend to be something they're not, put a mask on. So that's what I'm really, really feeling and hearing for the divine masculines. And for the feminine, this is just the continuation of what you started a long time ago. I feel like this is tapping into childhood for the feminine, tapping into what it is that you knew and learned, growing from that space, because the feminine also shut down aspects of her intuition or creativity in order to fit in. Okay, she didn't want to be different. She didn't want to be weird. She didn't want to not fit in. She was trying to fit in, and we don't fit in, right? We're starseeds. We're light workers. We're not meant to fit into this box that we call Earth. We're not meant to fit in. It's a density that, you know, spiritually, it's like your spirit. It's even hard to be in this physical body. That's why we have all these aches and pains as we go through the ascension process or the awakening growth process, whatever you want to call it, is because our bodies are not cut out for this heavy density that exists here on Earth. So I do feel like the masculine is starting to feel some of the physical sensations. I don't know. I think some of them could be feeling it to a more powerful degree than others. I think the feminine takes a lot of the physical hits, but I do think the masculines are starting to feel some of the heaviness. Feeling heart palpitations. They may be having headaches is what I'm tapping into. Stomach aches, those sorts of things. Like bigger ailments, but more general ailments where the feminines tend to be pretty specific as to what we're feeling. They are definitely still continuing to open their hearts, because the feminine is also feeling a lot of those heart fluctuations, palpitations, and it can even feel like your heart is skipping a beat. It can feel pretty scary, right, when you have those heart activations. So let's get a card specifically masculine. Well, they're trusting their gut feelings. That's pretty specific. They're trusting their gut feelings. So they would be having some solar plexus. So they would be having some solar plexus activations at this time. They could just be experiencing stomach aches or like a rumbling or grumbling, or maybe even digestive issues, like where they were able to digest certain foods before. I feel like they're getting food intolerances and things where they're like, what? My feminine had this and now I'm experiencing this, and they can't eat certain foods. I think they're stepping away. You know, a lot of masculines we're going to see stepping away from dairy, stepping away from even animal products to a certain degree, or eating cleaner. So eat cleaner animal products, cleaner protein, cleaner sources of food. So that's really interesting, because that's something new that's sort of just coming through with that card. Because we have the forever love and success, I do see that they're wanting to have success with the feminine, you know, like the recognition that this is a forever love, the recognition that this love isn't going anywhere, the recognition that this is my person, and wanting to accept this, wanting to have success with this person. Like, this is my person, you know, I want to like shout it from the rooftops. Like, I understand now that this is never going to go away. I'm never going to stop feeling the way I feel about my feminine. I'm never going to not love this person. I'm never going to just like move on from this person. And I'm telling you guys, every partner that they have feels the feminine's presence. Okay, especially the karmics who are already prone to jealousy or insecurity, which is most of the karmics. And look, you know, I've had people ask me, could I have been a karmic to someone? Absolutely. The feminine at one point was unhealed. We're still not fully healed. So yes, you can be a karmic to someone as well. And your counterpart could be a karmic to someone. Absolutely. We're not exempt from that, guys. We're not perfect. And I think that's really important that we understand that just because you identify as, you know, a divine counterpart, divine feminine, divine masculine, doesn't mean you were always that way. There have been definitive relationships, right? Defining moments in relationships where you would have acted karmically, or you would have had karma with that person. And that person looks back and goes, I had a terrible experience with that person. So, you know, let's not like put ourselves in a pedestal here, right? We're still learning, we're still growing. We made some mistakes in the past. I'm sure there's some things you're not proud of that you've done in past relationships. The masculine is still learning. The masculine prefers to learn through karmic relationships, as we'll call them, through karma. The feminine preferred to learn that way in the past. Now the feminine is preferring to learn through really her own lens. Like, she's learning through herself. She's learning through her relationship to self, while the masculine's still learning in relationship to others. But that's going to shift and change because they will follow the same path that you did, divine feminine. So let's finish out with a card specifically for the feminine. Angel of Choices. This has been coming up a lot for the feminine. So you have choices you can make, choices that are going to alter the course of your life. Now, I understand that things might seem slow right now at work or with clients or career, because it's like the ambition or the intuition has been turned down for the feminine. In order for the feminine to really focus on this aspect of her journey, she's focusing on her 3D world. What do I really want? If it's not in alignment, it's going. And that's what's scary. It's like things have been pulled out from underneath her in the 3D world. But remember, that's what your counterpart experienced last year, the year before, 2020. So now the feminine's experiencing that, while the masculine's having these dark nights of the soul and ego deaths and all these experiences internally. The feminine's experiencing a lot of this stuff externally. So you have choices to make right now. What are your reactions going to be? What are your responses going to be to, what's going on externally outside of yourself, divine feminine? Very interesting energy to come up here. I think it's interesting to note too that there are no wrong choices. There's not a wrong choice. There's choice A, there's choice B. It's not like, oh, I choose A and that's the wrong choice. I choose B and that's the wrong choice. It is more the energy of I have different, there's different possibilities, there's different avenues, but I do think this is saying the feminine's going to choose differently this time around. So I'm going to finish off one more card. Actually, I'm going to go back to the tarot deck. The Empress. Okay, so we do see the divine feminine energy coming online. I wanted future energy. The Empress, the divine feminine energy coming online for both counterparts. So what this tells me is that there's a birthing process that's taking place. The Empress is connected to the sacral chakra. The Empress is connected to creativity. The Empress is connected to your divine being, your divine blueprint. Okay, it is the divine feminine energy in physical form, and it's a nurturing energy. It's like the divine mother, the grandmother. I don't know. Don't laugh at me, but I just realized that grandmother, if you separate it, is the grandmother, like the grandest mother. I can't believe I just realized that. I don't know. I'm having these kind of aha moments about regular words, like words have taken on a new meaning for me recently, which is why I had to take a hiatus from readings, because it was really hard for me to speak and to form sentences and phrases and thoughts and words. But I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but I'm sure somebody is, because it's worthwhile that I share that. But holy crap, that's like, woo, aha moment. Grand epiphany, the grandmother, the grandest mother. This is about healing and self-love. This is about the nurturing of self. You have the universe inside of you. You are a constellation. You are a cosmos. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Don't ever forget that, divine feminine. So you're creating a path that's both healing for yourself and healing for others. And this unbridled creativity, the sacral chakra, nourish that with orange foods, nourish that with the orange color, wearing orange clothes. In fact, I just got, it's like a reddish orange shorts, but I just ordered from Stitch Fix the other day because I needed shorts, and I hate shopping. I'm one of the weird females who hates shopping. I used to love it. I hate it now. I hate malls. I hate all of that. I just want a personal shopper. I'm manifesting the shit out of that. And personal chef and personal trainer. But anyway, so I got these really rad shorts that I can't wait to wear to a concert. And they're like orange and red. And I'm like, that is the coolest color. So nourish that sacral chakra, guys. Wear the orange, sport the orange, paint a wall orange, buy orange plates, eat bell peppers, eat oranges, drink orange juice, all of the orange things, right? Cheese, whatever. Although don't do that if you're dairy intolerant. Don't do it. I think that's it, guys. I'm getting goofy. This has been a long reading. So sending you guys a lot of love, a lot of support to my soul brothers and soul sisters out there. And again, if you'd like a personal reading, I have several available on the website. I'm about to add in a new one because we just had Mars entering Gemini for 7 months. This is going to be, it's going to rock our world. It's going to rock our world. We're going to look into how that affects you. Mars is historically the ruler of Scorpio. Now we have Pluto. But anyway, we have Mars, who is the ruler of Aries and Scorpio. Okay, think about those energies for a minute. Even if you don't know a lot about astrology, you probably have heard Mars is combative. Mars is, it's the energy of the god of war. So in the sign of Gemini, the sign of the twins, historically, the sign of the brothers, right, the twin brothers, we could see people turning on each other at this time. We could see even more divisiveness. But we're going to see how this affects you individually. When I do my astrological readings, the two most popular ones have been the North Node and the South Node reading, which is, it was written in the stars reading. That's your destined path, your soul's path through all lifetimes. That's the absolute most popular, most favorite. And then second to that would be, I mean, definitely the Twinflame readings, which I have, I think, 2 spots left, maybe 1 or 2 for this round. And then I also, the Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction, which did happen a few weeks back, but which hasn't happened since 324 BC. And it's an energy that's going to continue in our lives for 15 years. So that's a really, really popular one as well, because it's such a long-lasting energy and effect. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Take good care. Thank you again to my moderators, and I'll see you soon.